Can you put your hands together for Pauline Campbell?
Hi everybody. My name's Pauline. I'm a principal lawyer for Waltham Forest at the moment. A few weeks ago, Richard called me on a Friday. I was absolutely shattered, and he just rings me on a Friday evening and he says, Pauline, we just need to have a chat because it looks like we're going to get evicted from Bernie Grant Centre. And I started to cuss him because I said, well, how long do we have? And he says, well, it looks like it's a couple of weeks. And I said, Richard, what is your problem? Why aren't you just telling me this now? Why are we doing this now? But the situation is that this is what we're like as a community. We believe that people won't do us harm because we're doing a good thing. And if we, as James Baldwin said, if we did to society what they did to us, the world would be ended. It'd be over. But we're not made that way. So BAP is a part of that process. So what we did was we had an urgent meeting that weekend and we talked about, I looked at the contracts and the licence and what it was saying. And effectively, you all know, they want to increase the rent from £420 a month to £600 a month. Now, they have a right to do that. And we have to talk about the legal aspect of this case. Legally, this is a licence. Legally, the Bernie Grant Arts Centre have the authority and the legal right to increase the rent. The rent has, what counts against us? A few things. The rent hasn't been increased for 7 years. What counts against us? Yes, the rent hasn't been increased for 7 years. When you look at the rent, you're thinking, £600 for a space like this, in this area, it's not that high when you think about it. And that's their argument to us, to say, well, we haven't increased it for 7 years. We've got to think about the cost of living. We've got to think about our increased prices. We've got to think about our bills, our utilities. So within law, they've got a right to do it. They've got a right to say we need to increase the rent. So we're fighting, thinking, well, how are we going to get around this? What are we going to do? So what we did was we chatted about it and I said, well, we got to think about not the money. We got to think about the value of that. Because these people are not moving, they are entrenched. Because I've sent them how many people have had a chance to read the letter? We did a 5-page letter. I posted it on social media. And when I put the letter together, it wasn't about the rent. It was about BAP. It was about BAP and what it was doing for our community. It was about how Westminster Council have given rent-free offices on Oxford Street to businesses to get them in the area rather than have people from outside the country come in and build up spaces on Oxford Street. It's about giving them rent-free on Oxford Street. Now, Westminster are a richer council, of course, but this isn't about a council. This is about innovative ideas. You look at what BAP is doing, and you look at the value of BAP. And you, as an organisation for the Bernie Grant Centre, know where you are. You're in the middle of a place where, looking at the figures, Harrogate is the most dangerous borough in London. It's figures. It's the shame of it, but it's not a shame because black people do what they need to do to keep their borough going. We watch all the time how Spurs fans come in to our area and then come out. The only time you see a whole heap of them is when they come in, and when they grow up, they come out. That is the benefit of what they give to our area. At one point, Spurs wanted to move out of the area, but they weren't permitted to do so. We have Beyonce having concerts in our borough. Beyonce, the most expensive ground in Europe, is here. And we are fighting for £120 a month rent. So what I said to us is that what we've got to do now is we've got to try and persuade them to change their mind. Let them reconsider their position based on how important that is. So I drafted this long letter, explained it, looked at Letitia, who's from the Black Panthers, who's an A-list BAFTA actress, who came from BAP, Dwayne, who's in Hollyoaks, and other actors who have built their lives here and grew up here, and back gave them a start. That's what I did, and I talked about all of that. I got a quote from our CEO, Colin McFarlane, an actor who is for Justice for Windrush, because I'm a legal advisor for Justice for Windrush. And I told Colin to do maybe 3-4 lines, but Colin, like this, if he wrote a whole page about how important it is that we support our young people and our adults to aspire to their dreams. All of that is in this 5-page letter. When I sent the letter, we hand-delivered it and said, right, this is what Rapper telling you. What are you going to do? The woman, the director, got the letter hand-delivered. She came back and basically said, thanks for your letter, but we're not changing our minds. That's it. There was no acknowledgement of how important that is. No thanks, but no thanks. Literally, that was it. So I said, well, she's obviously not going to change her mind. What can we do to try and change her mind? We've tried everything. I've written to her, please reconsider your position. The press have got on board. The BBC, I contacted her this week and said, look, the BBC are interested in it. ITV are talking to us. Don't you understand that this is more important than £120 a month, which you can easily stand? Are you telling me you can't stand £120? You're telling me that that's impossible. Then I realised what this was about. This was when you get letters from somebody who is articulating something in a certain way, we have now got to the point where we are no longer looking at the rent. We are looking at not wanting to back down. That's where we have got to now. We have got a director who does not want to lose face by changing their mind at this time. And that is what's going to make it hard for us, because it's no longer about the money. It's about the principle of I'm not backing down. We invited them to the meeting today. The answer, I said, please come. Listen to what the community has to say. Their response to me yesterday was, we have no one available to attend this meeting. We have no one available. I said, I'm very disappointed that you're not sending anybody. But we're going to go ahead irrespective of whether you come or not. But I'm warning you that we're going to go ahead. But the biggest tool and weapon we now have is this. Whether it's going to make a difference or not, I don't know. But Jacqueline found something on their website. And it's basically a document that they have on their website that puts rents into 3 categories. Category 1, Category 2, Category 3. Category 1 is £600 unfurnished, and it's for established businesses. That's where they've put that. Category 2, it's £480, and it is looking at offering services to the community. But Category 3 is the rent that we want to pay, which is £420. Now, the key to Category 3 is that it says that this group must provide workshops and they must provide support to the community.